Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Face the Heels. This is episode 8. My name is Ben Cornett. Tonight, we are going to recap WrestleMania, both nights 1 and 2. We're also going to be talking about the Raw after Mania, which was very interesting to say the least, and as well as talking about WWE finally being potentially sold to Endeavor for $9 billion. That's more than Vince McMahon would have had asked for. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let me bring in my guest here this evening. He is I don't know if there's a bigger wrestling fan than myself until I found this man. And let me tell you, he is the ultimate wrestling fan. And he is, if you're at a Chicago Cubs game, go say hi to him. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the legend, Mr. Nick Rosario, sporting a new look. Nick, how you doing tonight, man?
Well, I'm great. Thank you for that introduction. I'm almost impressed with myself after what you just said. Thank you. That's so nice.
Nick, you only get the best. You only get the best, bro. That's what it's all about.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you're the man. Hey, this is your show. I'm just visiting. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and you're not just a visitor. You're like a family member on this show. We love having your input and your insight. And let's get into it, man. This was quite a weekend. WrestleMania, as we know, in the books, night 1 and night 2. Nick, your overall thoughts on what you saw this past weekend?
Couple sentences, because kind of quick and to the point. I thought night 1 was phenomenal. I actually can honestly say that I enjoyed every match on that first night. Because again, you're going to get the gimmick stuff. So Pat McAfee coming back, beating up the Miz for the few minutes. You knew something like that was coming. I just didn't know who it was, but I knew something like that was going to happen because it always does. So I just didn't know it was McAfee, in that sense. But thoroughly enjoyed night 1. Night 2. There was some good matches. There was. But overall, I think night 1 totally overshadowed night 2. And again, regardless of what side of the fence you're on in terms of this whole bloodline story, the match itself with Cody and Roman was very good. A lot of people didn't like the ending, what happened. But again, if you're like Ben and I have been watching wrestling a very long time, and if you know anything about wrestling, you'll understand that most times heels cheat to win. That's how they hold on to their titles. So this was not a surprise in that sense. Yes, I probably would have liked to have seen Cody win, but was not surprised at all that Roman got the victory. Because again, if you've watched wrestling long enough, you know that's what happens. The heel will always find a way to come out on top, and it's usually, if it's not by cheating, it's by some other, something else happening. So again, for those of you who are thoroughly upset, and I know there are plenty of you on Twitter and Facebook and cursing WWE and everybody, that's the storyline, my friends, and sometimes that's just how it goes. But overall, it was a good weekend for WrestleMania, and they put on a pretty good 2 nights for the most part. So, like I said, but I thoroughly enjoyed night 1 better than night 2.
Well, Nick, I couldn't agree more. I think night 1 definitely knocked it out of the park. I mean, there was not a match that I didn't enjoy. I mean, if I'm really nitpicking with night 1, I would probably say it was Theory and Cena, only because if you noticed a couple times in that match, it seemed like Cena was talking to Theory, like some communication issues on which spot are we win next kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, it turned out to still be a good match. Theory, the right guy won. Cena put him over, obviously. And now they're getting bigger and better. The men's showcase tag match was pretty good. It was better than I expected. Street Profits got the win there. For me, the match of the night was Rhea and Charlotte. I mean, from a wrestling standpoint, that was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen. And then obviously probably the best overall fun match emotionally, Sami and KO finally beating the Usos, finally putting that dent in the bloodline, the cracks, taking the tag titles. And finally, we'll have a third guest here, guys. Let me bring this man in.
Here we go.
He is all the way from
going, guys?
Kyle.
Hey.
Kyle, thank you for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Yeah,
man?
no worries. I'm not gonna lie, Ben. I was looking at the Oilers game. I'm like, oh, thank God I don't start for 30 minutes. We're trying to take that spot in the Pacific right now.
There it is.
We appreciate you coming on, man. This is fun. I can't wait to get your perspective on it. Did you like both nights? Did you have a preference of which night you liked preferably, or did you like both?
Yeah, no, for sure. I actually liked. I don't know. I think night 2 had the most potential in my opinion. I guess to just go briefly over. I know you guys just started already, but like the tag matches were blah, minus the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Usos fight, because we know that was going to be such like that was going to steal the night, and that was just a well written script that it would have been really hard to screw that up, in my opinion. So I would say out of night 1, that was for sure my favorite. That was a really, really good match. The Rhea Ripley Charlotte Flair match, to be honest, was kind of what I expected. Like, it was good. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but just it is what it is, right? I think the Edge and Finn Balor match had a ton of potential, which was blindsided, unfortunately, by when Finn Balor cracked his head open. So
Yeah.
I think that threw the match out. I love seeing the blood, though. It gave me little flashbacks to what it was like watching WWF back in the day when people would bleed, right? So
Yeah.
I did like that. It was cool seeing the demon come out. Honestly, like, I know it was outside or it was in SoFi, so like you could see the outside and stuff, but like his intro was taken away from so much. Like, it needed to be dark. It needed to be that heart beating, or you know what I mean? And that wasn't there at SoFi. So that was ruined for me a little bit. But I was really confused too. Like, what happened with this Gangrel and apparently Christian Cage that was supposed to show up there? I don't know what was going on with that, but didn't see that.
Gangrel was I'm sorry, Gangrel. I guess apparently at the last second they nixed it. I guess so they didn't bring him in
Really?
there.
Wow.
Yeah, according to from what I read, yeah, they just went ahead with the what was the Slayer entrance theme song with Edge coming out. I was kind of, if you're gonna do the Brood thing,
do it the whole way.
You know? Yeah, and it seemed like, and it was a cool entrance. Don't get me wrong with Edge. I thought it was really cool, but it just.
Well, no, let's not try and bullshit it here. What the fuck was he wearing? Like, let's be honest here. Like, is he trying to be Finn Balor? Like, I don't understand. Like,
I don't know. But it was and I mean, I just felt that match was off to me. I don't know what. I just had a disconnect. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, I think after the ladder shot, what happened was I think really that's what kind of. I mean, it was going okay, and I think they probably had a lot more spots to do. But once he cracked his head open like that, I don't think the match lasted another 6 minutes. Did it? Like 6-7 minutes, then it was done.
It had a little bit of time, not much longer than that. Yeah, you're right. It definitely threw off the match.
Yeah, I think it threw off everything that they wanted to do, because even like getting to the concerto shot, it was just like, okay, let's hurry up and get everything else in that we were going to try to do, and the match is over.
They didn't even go on top of the cell.
Huh?
They didn't even go on top of the cell.
Well, I'm just saying, in general, I'm sure that a lot of things got missed when that happened. Because, again, when you saw the gash afterwards, my God, I'm surprised the guy continued.
Yeah, that they let him for that.
Yeah, because that was a huge gash on the top of his head. Yeah, I mean, he was split open. And the thing is, you couldn't see all of the blood because his makeup was partly red, too. So you didn't know what was makeup and what was blood and what was, so I think, unfortunately, that kind of made that match less than what it could have been. So, but still, I mean, it was still a good match, and it was going well until that happened. So again, but I wanted to say this because I think I get where Kyle is coming from, because I think we all knew that Rhea and Charlotte would put on a great match, and they did. But I got to be honest when I say that that's probably one of the best women's matches that I've seen probably ever, outside of the half-hour Iron Woman match with Bayley and Sasha at NXT at that one pay-per-view. I forget what it was called. But outside of that, man, this has to be the best women's match I've seen in the last, 15 years.
I don't know about that. That's stretching, man. like for women's matches, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. I remember there was a good triple threat match between I want to say Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair,
And don't
and
say Ronda Rousey.
it might have been that triple threat. But
Nah,
that match to me was
bro.
even better.
That match sucked, bro.
I don't know, man.
Horrible. That was horrible.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't. I think. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good match, but in my opinion, Nick, I think you're stretching a bit. 15 years.
Really?
That's the best women's match you've seen. I don't know, man. That's a big stretch.
I challenge you to name me a better one.
I'll give you a better
I'm
one.
all for being corrected. If you think you can find me a better match in the last 15 years than what Charlotte and Rhea put on, I'm more than happy to be corrected. But
Sasha
like I said,
Bailey,
go ahead and find it for me.
Sorry,
I
Ben?
said, right.
Bailey.
Sasha and Bailey, outside of Sasha and Bailey, that was a great match. Half an hour. I mean, Iron Woman match, that was phenomenal. But I'm telling you.
The NXT in Brooklyn. The one before.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know what? Exactly. Ben's got a good point. Like, Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. I could go watch probably last year's NXT matches for the females, and I probably can name you 5 matches that were probably better than that match.
Okay.
Easily.
Oh, really? Against
NXT's phenomenal, dude. That's the thing. I'm not saying it was a bad match.
I'm not saying it isn't, but on a stage like that, they put on about a 25-minute match.
I will give you this. I found it better though. It was better than Asuka and Bianca. I will say that for sure.
Oh yeah, of course, by a mile. Hey,
yeah,
listen, you know what
made that absolutely better.
You know what made that match good though with Charlotte and Rhea? Both respect each other, and I think they both wanted to go out there and steal the show.
Yeah,
you have two people.
Well, you saw Charlotte smile even after the match was over.
Yeah,
she was outside of the ring actually smiling. She smiled
because they first fought at WrestleMania. That match sucked compared to this match.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago, and Rhea will tell you that she wasn't really. That wasn't a right. She wasn't really prepared for that, and that said, not that she wasn't prepared to wrestle, but she was. It was 3 years ago. Yeah, and it was right. That was during COVID, so it's like, you didn't have the audience, you didn't have any of the. But no, I thought it was the right call to have Rhea win, and I guess Charlotte's taking time off anyways to do other things, so we won't see her for a while again. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And then obviously, last but not least, but Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Kyle, go ahead and start with you, man. What'd you think?
Am I allowed to be uncensored on your show? Like, am I allowed to not swear? Like, I'm not sure how you want it to go, Ben.
Kyle, if you don't swear, I'm
gonna tell you right now, what a fucking piece of shit ending that was. Like, my God, wait. Like, here's the thing. I expect endings like that at every pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, building up to WrestleMania. But that's what you want to fucking do during WrestleMania. Are you joking me right now? Like, that is bullshit, man. That was a hell of a fucking good fight. That's like going to see a Stephen King movie. Fucking movie's great, and then ending shit. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, if you're gonna have him lose, if you're gonna have Cody lose, have him lose legit. Like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Have him lose with like a ref botch or something like that, where you don't have any kind of interference and shit like that. But that is so stupid. And like, I get it. I know they're trying to make Roman the best that there's ever been. Like, I get the storyline they're trying to push here and shit like that. But like, you're already losing viewers at this point because everybody's sick and tired of Roman defending 2 titles. It's, Roman is the undisputed champion. He is the WWE. He has Universal. That's great. Like, you're fucking taking away from this talent that's on Raw and SmackDown at this point. Like, I'm not saying that they're not doing a good storyline for Roman, because they are, but you're also overshadowing now all this talent that you have developing on these rosters, right? And now it's going to take like a lot of them even like a half year longer to go and develop. Like, I don't know. I hate that. At the very least, if you're going to keep running with Roman, at least drop a title. Drop a title, give it to somebody else. Roman can still be this big star because he's not going anywhere for a bit now. But I don't know. I just think that was a great opportunity to drop that title or one of the titles right there. And now, like, depending on how they do it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, I'm sure they'll find a way that's not going to look stupid. I do have faith in Triple H, but like, you're opening up the door to have a bad transition now, in my opinion. I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
No, that's fair, Kyle. And before I get to my 2 cents here, and I want to get your thoughts, Nick. I mean, what what do you think of this match? Did you like the ending of this match? Did you think it's the right
Well,
move?
Here's the thing, and I think you and I were talking about this a little bit to start, Ben. I'm not surprised by what happened and how the match ended, but I do agree that I wish it would have ended better because, as you said, Kyle, it was a good match. Even with, obviously the Usos come out, Solo gets thrown out of the match. Usos come, Kevin and Sammy make the save, so they go back to just being Cody and Roman. And, they fought, a lot of false finishes. They had a lot of good moves. Like I said, I thought the match was good. I really did.
Yep.
I was disappointed in the ending. I wasn't surprised by it because, again, as I was telling Ben, a lot of times that's what they do with the heels. And again, as you said, Kyle, they're obviously trying to get Roman to that 1,000 day mark. This,
Yep.
invincible champion can't be beat no matter what happens. Blah blah blah. And that's classic heel stuff. I mean, that's been going back to wrestling since I've been watching it. Like they've always done that.
Triple H
But I
too.
think-
Triple H was notorious for this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I am disappointed though because I thought, but in the same token, I will say this because if you do have Roman, I guess pin Cody cleanly, then you've buried Cody as well.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk about Raw later a little bit, so we can talk about, for those of you who saw, what happened there. So we'll talk about that too. But I just think if you do have Roman beat Cody without any kind of suspect thing, then you've just buried Cody. And the last 3 months have been for what? He wins the Royal Rumble just to lose cleanly to Roman. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, I was disappointed too at the ending. But I think at the same time, unless it was a disqualification, which would have been worse, I think
that would have been worse. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so it ended the way it ended, and again, we'll go on and talk about more later, obviously, because like I said, what happened on Raw was kind of surprising. And then after thinking about it, I thought, well, maybe it's not so surprising, and I'll tell you why I feel that way later. So yeah.
I like that.
Oh,
No, that's fair. You know
yeah.
what? Honestly, Nick, you're valid. I got nothing to counter on that one. That's fair.
Okay, guys,
Yeah, it's just-
I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. And look,
Yes, let's hear it, Ben.
I've thought about this, and I feel like
Okay.
on one hand, and I told you this, I think I told you, Nick, personally. I don't know if Kyle was on this particular episode. First of all, I wish they would have had more time between the Rumble and Mania to build this story, because in reality,
Yeah.
it only had 2 months. Now,
True.
I wouldn't have been mad if Cody would have won. I think it would have WrestleMania, perfect timing to take it off Roman after 949 some odd days, right? So, however, I'm okay with Roman keeping the titles. But if you're going to go with Cody eventually to win to eventually take it off him, I would wait a year. And here's why. I feel like Cody did lose some momentum after this match. No matter
Yeah.
what, cheating, he lost some momentum.
I agree.
What you got to do, you don't want to rush it right back. Because if Cody, let's say if he wins at the next pay-per-view, right, Backlash, if they have that match, it wouldn't feel the same. It would be like, oh, well, you couldn't have, fans would be like, some fans, not all, but, oh, why didn't you do it at WrestleMania on a bigger stage? Now you're doing it in another country, in Puerto Rico.
Ben,
Yeah.
I had a question with that.
Yeah.
So-
and then, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you think, I don't mean to cut you off, but do you think then, with that being said, that, because Roman, I think, he's not going to lose them both at the same time. I think they'll eventually be split somehow. Do you think Cody has to take the first title away from him or the second? Because I think the
depends on
second now.
Okay. But I think it depends on the timing too, Kyle.
Okay.
Cody, you have to build him back up. And we're going to get into the Raw recap of why what happened last night actually helped Cody in the long run.
Yeah.
You got to build that momentum back up. Because if you rush Cody to take those belts off Roman, they're not going to look at it. A lot of fans, not all, they're not going to look at it the same way they would have if you would have won it at WrestleMania. It would be more
Yeah.
like
Right.
did you do it now? We had it at we wanted to see it at WrestleMania. My advice right now would, if you wanted Cody to be the guy, build him up for 1 year. Have let's say a team that lost a championship game, lost by 1 point,
Yeah.
right? They have a year now to like go back to that championship game. You want Cody to be that guy that's okay, I got a year now. That story needs to be told more. That's only the beginning. And even in the press conference, Triple H did say, it's a story. We're going to keep moving the story along.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they still have their sights with Cody Rhodes being the champion down the road. But right now, this is just like chapter 1 of that story,
Okay.
And I think Cody would tell you, like, because his father, Dusty Rhodes, like, it's storytelling. And I get it.
Cody Rhodes stories too in AEW, right? Like he knows all about it. Like,
right, yeah. And, he knows wrestling. He knows how stories are built and everything. And I think even Cody may tell you, like, hey, maybe it was too soon, for me to win the title. I just got here like a year ago. I've only wrestled a couple matches. Remember, he had the torn pec, so he was out about 7-8 months. So you really haven't seen much of him. And I'm okay with it. Build him up more. Get the fans more behind him. Put these obstacles in front of him, so that way the protagonist will eventually, the babyface, the hero, will ultimately, when it's time to take the antagonist, the heel, the titles away, it'll be that much more rewarding. And I think that's the approach I would go with, only if you're going to go with Cody. Now, I'm not saying that with anybody else,
Right.
And honestly, there really isn't anybody else right now other than, and that's another reason why I think fans are upset. Well, who else is it going to be now? Because
I think that's where to be honest, where I lie, right? And that's kind of why I posed the question. Like, now Roman has the Undisputed, and like, is he going to drop both? Is he going to do double duty again? You know what I mean, for the next year? Because logically, just looking at how it is, and again, these are obviously bold predictions for everybody that's watching, right? Because we're now at the start of a year. Anything can happen from now until WrestleMania next year, right? But are we seriously going to see another full year of Roman as an undisputed champion? That's a long time, man. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe he does drop it at SummerSlam and stuff, but like, sure, who's going to take it from him? Cody seemed like the most logical choice, right? But what now? I guess the only thing that I personally think that makes the most amount of sense is maybe it is Jey Uso who ends up winning it somehow, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Like, he wins one of the titles. And to back up your point, I think if Cody, you have to build up Cody again, but that's why I think he's got to win the second title. It's got to be split, and he'll probably face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It'll be another headline or something like that, and he'll win it, the second whatever title, probably the Universal, I'm going to guess. But I guess on the same respect, does Cody win a title then before that title?
No, he doesn't have to.
You don't think so?
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I don't.
Yeah.
Or unless, well, again, we're going to talk about Raw a little bit later, but I find it interesting also too that if you think about it, talking about the champions that they currently have that have had belts a long time, who's going to take on Gunther next? If you think about it, like, he beat both Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in that match, right? Who are two of the toughest guys he probably faced in the last, the last probably 6-7 months. Who do you give the run to next with Gunther? Like, and that's the same question with Roman. But I mean, who do you see, but Bronson Reed's going to fight with Lashley for a while apparently. So I mean, they set that up Monday on Raw, so they're going to wrestle next week probably. But I just think like, that's the thing. Like, the question is, now that you said the new year has started in that sense, and you get to build all new feuds and this stuff, it does make you wonder, like, the champions that have been in, obviously you just switched Rhea, right? You've just switched Rhea Ripley, so she's the champion on SmackDown. Bianca retained, and I kind of think, not that I don't like Bianca, but I think her reign is starting to get a little stale. I think somebody should beat her, right? But who do you have beat her now? You just had Asuka, who just had this whole character change. And again, I think that storyline was rushed as well. But so she loses. So Asuka loses a little steam. She's not going to probably get the rematch right away. So who do you
Ben, you
have
go
going
first.
after?
I'll go second.
What'd you say?
I was going to say though, Nick, I don't think it's all on Bianca. I think it's just she's not been given good feuds. You know,
Well, that's
she's
what I'm saying, though.
phenomenal.
Who do you have there? That's my point,
got
though,
it.
Ben. Who do you bring next? I mean, honestly, Becky Lynch is a tag champion, so that's
No.
done.
It's
No, I'm just
easy.
saying, Becky Lynch. Who?
It's
I-
Alexa
don't
Bliss, man. I'm telling you,
That's not gonna
Alexa
happen.
Bliss comes back.
But when's
She's
she coming back,
reformed.
though? That's the thing. We don't
But
know
that's
when
what I
she's
mean.
coming
If she
back.
was
But how many
on,
times
she was
are
on the
we gonna
Masked
have to get a
Singer.
fight, though, bro?
She
Yeah,
was
I
on
know
the
she was
Masked
on the
Singer.
Masked Singer. I know, I saw
So
that.
that's
Yeah.
That's her hiatus or whatever, right? And the thing is like what honestly at this point, like regardless of what happened with Bray Wyatt, if it actually is an illness or a creative issue, right? What they should have done is maybe they should have stretched it out or like waited or given some kind of like, actually what should have happened, I'll tell you, is they shouldn't have made any kind of feud other than LA Knight with Bray Wyatt and then maybe thrown him in the Battle Royal or the Andre the Giant battle, you know what I mean? Battle Royal or something like that. And that should have
Yeah.
just been his WrestleMania. Now what I would have done is now you actually have some solid time to build a proper Bray Wyatt feud, bring in Alexa Bliss and do what you were trying to do earlier on in the year or later on, like way too late at that point, right? And
Yeah.
Alexa wins the title. Bray Wyatt doesn't.
Yeah.
And he'll just feud or whatever with Alexa, like by his side and shit. She'll take the title from Bianca Belair or whatever, and there'll be that feud or something. And you could have done something like that.
Man, I mean, yeah, you could have, but I think honestly, I think the Bray, for whatever reason, even if it is a legit injury or I think the Bray thing, man, that just fell flat. I mean, I like the match.
100%.
I thought the setup with LA Knight was a good one, but that match was crap. And it's like you
Absolutely.
totally screwed that. That could have been such a good feud, and they screwed it up totally with that quick match and that stupid Uncle Howdy missing. When you watch the replay, he missed LA Knight by like 20 feet on that jump off the top of that thing or whatever. You're like, dude,
Yeah.
he didn't even hit him. Like, it didn't even look like he hit him. It didn't look like he hit him live. Then when I saw the replay and realized he missed him by a good 5 feet, I'm like, good Lord, you could have made that look more believable. But yeah, I just think that whole thing lost its steam, and I think putting Alexa back with them would kill her again in terms of the momentum. Because as you said, Kyle, I'm actually a big Alexa Bliss fan, and I think they need to do something with her. And I just think if you put her with Bray Wyatt again right now, I just think that kills her momentum again. I just don't know that that's a great storyline for her right now.
It's kind of been here, done that kind of thing. And I think as far as Bianca, I mean, they did last night. We're talking about the Raw recap. Now, Rhea did come out. Now, I don't think this is going to be the match right away. This could be setting up something for like SummerSlam or
something future.
But I could see something outlandish to keep Bianca busy for a little bit because there are reports now that Bayley was not at Raw last night and that she had a tweet saying this romantic story has come to an end. She wasn't asked to be at
I saw that
either.
Thank God. Fuck, that shit's boring, man.
That she may be leaving, but that was one of the challengers I was thinking could fight Bianca again, even though they've recently had a feud not too long ago. But I can see something like a Chelsea Green or something, just to keep Bianca busy for a little bit, because really on Raw you don't have that many women right now that can
give it to Liv Morgan. Give it back to Liv.
Nah,
she's in a tag team now with Raquel, and they're gonna
challenge. Raquel are going for the tag titles next week.
I think they're actually gonna win it. Is what I think is gonna happen.
Well, you do wonder how long they're going to go with Lita as a champion, right? Like, you got to think at some point her and Becky have to lose those to somebody, right? Like that, I don't think Lita's going to stick around for a year title run, right? I mean, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but
or maybe as an attraction, maybe Trish and Bianca at SummerSlam or something like that. Set something up there where, it's more of an attraction match, but it gives
right, but. I just think you're right. Raw just doesn't have enough women to really like step up and challenge Bianca. I think that's kind of the thing. That's why. And since we're talking Raw now, here's my biggest thing.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Usually the night after. Usually the night after WrestleMania, Ben. You know this. You get all these debuts. There's usually NXT call-ups. People return. All we got was Matt Riddle in a segment with The Miz. Yeah, bro. Like, and again, I'm not saying I hate Matt Riddle, but to bring him back to feud with The Miz, like, come on. Like, that's your only return yesterday? No call-ups, no nothing. Like, I just was like, I thought Raw sucked. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat. I thought Raw sucked last night. I thought the only thing I got excited about, and well, I know we're going to talk more about this, but when I thought there was going to be a tag match with Cody and Brock against Solo and Roman, I thought, ooh, that might be something. And then, of course, we'll talk about what happened there. But yeah, I was so disappointed when I saw it when I got to the main event and went, oh, come on. That honestly, that had Vince McMahon written all over it. I don't care what anyone says. Oh. That really had like Vince McMahon. And then reading that he did rewrites for Raw last night and that he was there. I went, that is such a Vince McMahon thing to pull at the end of the night there with that main event that I just went, I'm sick. I'm going to sleep. I can't take it.
Let's do a side track here. WWE sold to Endeavor for $9 billion.
Yeah.
So
$9 billion.
With Vince, I think he's now back in creative. Now he's saying he's not in the weeds. He's still getting input, but Triple H is still on the controls.
The COO or whatever, Chief Content Officer, right.
Right. But yeah, I've heard the, reports that some wrestlers, their morale was low last night. Like, here we go again,
Oh, I don't blame them because that show sucked. If he rewrote that and that's what he put out there, that's terrible. Like if that, and again, we're talking about Bayley. Tell me Damage Control is not buried now. They lose to Raquel and Liv Morgan, really? Like, no offense to Raquel or Liv Morgan. They've been a tag team for what, 10 minutes? And Dakota Kai and Io Sky have been a tag team for what, almost a year now or something? Like, at least a good 9 months. And you have just, talk about burying two people without saying you're burying two people. Like, Damage Control might be done, and maybe that's why maybe that's what Bayley was talking about, because it even said that Bayley was initially scheduled and then she was pulled from the show. So maybe they're just killing Damage Control altogether, and that's what Bayley was talking about her sweet thing is coming to an end, and now she'll go back to being a solo, a singles wrestler again, and Dakota Kai and Io Sky are going to do whatever. But I thought that sucked too, because regardless of what you thought of Damage Control, as a heel faction, they were pretty good. And now you've probably torn that apart, and now those three will just flounder for some reason.
I wouldn't. I mean, Damage Control. Bayley carried that program. I wasn't really.
Saying she did it, but I'm just saying, as heels, they were good.
They were solid. I mean, unless Bayley was out there, Io and Dakota really didn't get a reaction. I don't think the fans cared. That's not their fault, but I mean, it's just that, they had to be put with Bayley because she's the mouthpiece. And when you don't have a mouthpiece, to me, they just like another tag team, and that I don't really care about. I'm sorry. It's not personal. It's just as a fan.
No, I know. I know what you're saying.
I like Dakota as a wrestler, though.
Yeah, she's a good wrestler, but she's not great on the mic, and that's not her wrestling skills are. So I wouldn't be disappointed if they disbanded it, but I see what you're saying, Nick. I mean, the show was not very good. I saw.
Right.
It just wasn't
100%.
I mean, and we'll talk about the main event now with was supposed to be a tag match, but instead
holy shit. Just beats the crap out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, you saw that? Okay.
Yeah, like it was unreal, man. Like, my God, like he literally just beat and I think he actually hurt Cody. Like, he beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he did. That was Did you like Did you like him flipping the birds at the end there? Wasn't that a nice touch?
Fuck, I love it.
You know what though? I gotta tell you, and I'm not lying. I had a feeling something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
It just kind of there's kind of a setup. and also the Usos were kicked out. Paul
Yes.
Heyman told them, go get the
Right, go back to the plane, go eat the shrimp, right, go whatever.
Boss.
Go eat the seafood.
Chief.
Yeah.
I took care of it.
Yeah. Well, my thing, and I just wonder because, again, this is a Vince McMahon thing to do because you notice how they played up the fact that Brock, he couldn't get another shot at Roman because of their match at SummerSlam. Like, that was the last time
Right,
Brock would have gotten the title match. Now, tell me if they don't pull a swerve like this. Just follow me here for a second. Paul Heyman makes a secret deal with Brock Lesnar to take out Cody Rhodes in that sense. So Cody's not in the picture anymore for a while. They do it as Cody's out now because Brock Lesnar beat the snot out of him. And at SummerSlam, you get Brock and Roman in a title match again, which I don't want to see, but he slips in the back door kind of thing where Heyman maybe crosses Roman, goes back with Brock. Because, again, as you said, they're setting up, obviously, that Jay and Jimmy are running out of favor with Roman because they lost the titles.
Right.
So now things are going to start turning for the bloodline, and everybody will turn on Roman. This is kind of going along with what you're talking about, Kyle, where you talk about splitting the belts. Maybe this is how you do that. As Jimmy and Jay are the first two to go because Roman decides to exile them for losing the tag titles. Then they help whoever beat Roman as kind of a revenge thing for maybe one of the titles. And then the second title goes to whoever you want to, whether it's Brock or whoever on the back end. Like I said, Heyman makes some kind of backdoor deal as they play it to get Brock back in the title picture. He leaves Roman to go back to Brock, yada, yada, yada. Now you've got a big SummerSlam match again, even though, again, I don't want to see it again, but whatever. And then you take the titles off of Roman that way.
I think that's possible, but you know what I think also could be a possibility is kind of like going off what you were saying, Nick. The Usos are out. They're out of the bloodline. They lost the titles. They're no longer relevant. They're on the island of irrelevancy. Now, then Solo does something or whatever. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he turns on Solo and he's like, you know what, Solo, you're out. You know what, you were the reason, even though it was like a scapegoat kind of scenario, right? Where like he just didn't actually do anything, but he used Solo as a scapegoat and pretty much hates on his family or whatever. And then they somehow, hopefully it's SummerSlam, because I don't want this shit to run too long. And they all jump in and fucking just give it to Roman, and they cause him to lose it or whatever, and that's the end of it. The end.
Well, I was going to say too,
and then Roman takes time off.
He could have that nervous
and resurfaces at the Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah, where he always looks behind his back. He has this nervous
possibility.
Yeah, he could play that kind of character where it's like he just destroys everything. Like, I'm not going to let anybody else destroy this but me. And then kind of thing.
It'd be really cool too.
And that must be the right way to play that, where Roman destroys what he built. Because again, it started.
You could do a family thing and maybe somehow Goldust gets involved. Can you imagine?
As long as The Rock doesn't get involved in this, I'll be very happy.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, I'm wondering about that because I'm wondering.
No.
I'm picking up, Ben. I'm picking up where you're throwing. I was thinking so too. I'm like, maybe they got something.
I know where he's going, but no. I don't want no. I know. I get it, but no Rock. No, don't even.
Yeah, no Rock. You smell.
That'd be so horrible. Yeah, that would be so horrible. I think that is horrible. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. I beg of thee.
Rock,
yeah, I beg of you, Vince McMahon, if you have any sense left, don't do it. Do not bring Rocky Maivia into this. Jeez, I know it's horrible, but The Rock will make some time in his schedule for next year's WrestleMania, and all of a sudden you'll see The Rock. That'll be it.
Oh, you know what? They got to film that one scene I got to do, so I won't be able to make it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Right, yeah.
The one
next time. Exactly.
Well, Nick, I got to tell you, man, like you said, how Raw sucked last night. Well, I guess this was the perfect example of that. There you go.
There you go. Totally so true. So Vince McMahon rewriting the show. Yeah, that's just hilarious. Well, you know what? Some people, and I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but the internet, obviously everybody trolls everybody. And so there was a picture of Moxley and Rhodes in AEW flipping the birds, and they're trying to correlate that to, McMahon never forgets, and that's why Brock flipped them off at the end of the show. Like more of, okay, F you, right? So who knows how they're going to play that. And that's the thing, too. A lot of people were speculating, well, that's why Cody lost, because, they never forget what, he crapped on WWE when he was at AEW, and he trashed Triple H's throne and all that stuff. And so Cody's never going to win. No, I know. I think it's stupid, but again, this is what you get because that's the way the internet is. Well, yeah, Shane McMahon tore a quad doing a leapfrog. Like, come on, like that's of all the stuff. That's the one thing about that. Of all the high flying stuff he's done off the top of the cell, all the jump from across the ring with the garbage can, everything Shane McMahon's done, and a simple leapfrog, and he busts a quad. And then Snoop Dogg has to come in and give the worst people's elbow just to beat the Miz.
Remember he was doing the interview? You could tell he was, winded. He was blown up, man. He could barely get a word out. He was so tired. I mean, he hadn't been in the ring like over a year.
Exactly. So, ever since he booked himself in that Royal Rumble and they got mad and they let his ass go.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
So here's the question, though. Here's the question. Because the thing is the next, well, in my opinion, the next big pay-per-view that's going to be coming up is going to be Money in the Bank, in my opinion. And for different reasons, though.
Isn't there one in Saudi Arabia coming up, though?
That before that, and then in London is the Money in the Bank.
But the Money in the Bank will be the most relevant pay-per-view for many reasons, because that's what people are going to watch, right? So my question then is, so I think there's only really two pathways that we're going to look at here in terms of belts. Either they're going to go after Roman, and maybe that's where he gets one stripped, like we were saying before with Jey Uso, or maybe they use this to dethrone Gunther.
Yeah, but with who?
Well, that's what I don't know. That's what I'm wondering, right? So, maybe they give somebody else a title. To be honest, it'd be smart if you let somebody somebody Bronson Reed win it. If you let maybe even Seth Rollins, throw it at Randy Orton. Fuck, that'd be fine. That'd be sick.
Yeah. See, Randy may not come back because of his back injury, so we've got to wait and see on Randy.
See, guys, this is what I mean. Before Triple H took over creative, nobody's been built. That's not a babyface or a heel that's been built. The only guy that's done it is Roman. This is where you got to.
Bray Wyatt had potential, though. He really fucked that up.
Which one?
Yeah, that was
Bray Wyatt had potential. They could have made that to a huge babyface.
They could have, but I mean, a lot of it's on Bray though too. He's had injuries. He's had these, I guess, creative differences.
Do you think he's sick? Do you think he's actually sick?
I think there's some kind of injury he's going through. I mean, I don't think it's one of those. Oh, it's not creative. No, I think something's going on. There seems to be a health. No, they can't say because I guess it's private. They're not allowed to, but it's disclosed. It's an injury that it's going to take time. They just don't know when he's going to come back. So that's from what I've read.
Maybe that's why he didn't wrestle either, eh?
That could be. No, it could very well be, Kyle. Maybe he's just an injury right now where he just can't do anything, other than maybe make appearances and talk on the mic. That's pretty much it.
Now that I think about it, I don't know why. Like I said, I'm just going through everything here. We were talking about who could face who. I'm not saying that she should win the title, but I wouldn't mind seeing Bianca fight someone like Shayna Baszler and just let her go out there and beat up on Bianca for 10, 15 minutes, do all the stuff she did in MMA, really give Bianca the fight of her life in that sense. Not necessarily win, but just something different to see. Because you know what I mean? You get tired of seeing the same kind of thing all the time. And I think they're trying, if Rousey wouldn't have really got hurt, she does have a legit elbow injury. Because if you notice, in that woman's match, she was barely in it except for the end. She literally, she was in the last, They gave them the
Hey,
victory, but literally in the last 3 minutes, she comes back into the match, and that's it. Then it's over.
Right.
I think if they could give Shayna a good singles push and let her face somebody like Bianca, just to be, it's something totally different, and it's just something that I think could work in terms of
I'd
at
like that.
least. Yeah, I would totally love that, and that's why I'm saying, like, there's not a lot of females that you go, man, I would love to see Bianca wrestle her. And even with Rhea on SmackDown, with Charlotte gone, you sit there and go, okay, so who's going to be Rhea's first challenger for the SmackDown Women's title? You know what I mean? Yeah, they did the whole thing with her and Bianca, so that could be somewhere down the line. Maybe next WrestleMania, you get Bianca and
Ava
Rhea.
Rain.
But, like,
Ava Rain.
in the meantime, who?
So actually, the one thing I was going to say, Nick, and sorry to interrupt, is they
No, go
released
ahead.
two wrestlers from NXT that they're saying now are going to be brought up to the main roster, and this is why I think maybe Bray Wyatt's thing isn't necessarily dead. It's the two wrestlers are Ava Rain, which is The Rock's daughter,
Yeah, the Rock
and
daughter.
then also Joe Gacy. Apparently, those superstars have been released from NXT, and they're posed to be going onto the main roster on WWE. So easily could be an Ava Rain versus Bianca Belair. I think it's a real possibility.
Yeah, but
And then
that would
you
be
also
way
have-
too soon for Ava Rain, I think.
It's not ready.
You can't. I mean, I know she's The Rock's daughter, so that would be an attraction. But do not
But
push
she's
that
not.
young lady too soon. Yeah,
No,
she's not ready
no.
for any of that.
So
Yeah,
you get her in, get her
No, I
moving
know, yeah, I
around,
get it.
and build up to that.
yeah.
I think she needs to stay in
Ow.
NXT a while. I mean, she needs to.
She's very
develop her
green.
character.
She's
Yeah,
gone.
She's
She's not going to though.
got a lot of
No,
promise.
no, I know.
I mean, I've seen
Because,
her.
and again, that's a Vince McMahon thing. If that's because he likes to it's the name. It's The Rock's daughter. You can capitalize on that. People will know who she is. It's not
Call
like they
her
don't know
Pebble.
that that's The Rock's daughter. And yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and I can see that happening. I just think that would be detrimental to her to do that to her because she's
Yeah.
not ready for that. She just isn't.
Right.
But that's not saying she can't be in 2 years. But like, it's the same thing we kind of talk about with Dominic. Like, as a wrestler, yes, Dominic may leave a lot to be desired. But when you throw him in as a heel and you just let him, bad. Because here's my thing. Going forward, what I really want to see, whenever they end this thing with Mysterio and Dominic, because obviously he interfered again on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Bad Bunny.
when they end that feud, I want to see what Dominic does. Because obviously what's made this story compelling is it's father versus son. But when you don't have that story to tell, I want to see what they do with Dominic and see if he responds in the same way. Because, yeah, it's great when you're making fun of your father. People are going to, oh, he sucks. You don't say that to your dad, blah, blah. You don't badmouth your mother, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, in that regard, the family dynamic made that story interesting. But when that story gets taken away, then I want to see how Dominic responds and what he does. Because, again, I don't know what's going to go with the Judgment Day now that Balor's got a big cut on his head. Where does he go next? He loses to Edge. Priest hasn't had a match in who knows how long. And
They should
Dominic
push
lost to
Priest.
Mysterio. So I don't know.
Well, let me say this, guys. Let me say this real quick, Nick, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I think it's going to be starting a break apart with the Judgment Day, and I think what's going to happen
Oh, yeah, for sure.
is that Dominic's
100%.
going to be fighting one of the two guys for leadership. Maybe he fights like
Oh.
a Finn Balor. You know what I mean? Like fight for
No,
and-
Priest.
or Priest. Yeah, one of the two.
Priest is so good. He's such a good wrestler.
No, he is, though. He should be pushed better, I think. He should be wrestling
Yeah.
every week. And he should be in,
Right.
and like for the theory for the U.S. title or whatever, he should be in a title picture somewhere. The guy can actually wrestle. He's really
Yeah, I
good.
think
But what I think
Priest
is going to
is
happen, I think you guys saw this too, is tell me that Backlash isn't going to be Bad Buddy and Rey Mysterio against Dominic and Damian Priest
will be
after
because
Raw
they're
last
Oh,
night. You know what I mean?
God.
both of them are Puerto
Because
Rican,
it's in
so
Puerto
it's
Rico, right? Right. It's
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico. Bad Buddy's supposed to be the host, but I guarantee you, in the next coming weeks, you're going to see Bad Buddy and Rey Mysterio versus Dominic and Damian Priest in Puerto Rico. Book that one now, Dano. That one's done.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's too predictable. That's way too predictable.
Book it. Love it. Book it. That's the main event. We're
Yo,
going-
Ben.
Exactly.
You watch hockey, right, Ben? Yeah.
Sometimes. What's going
Fuck.
on?
Why the fuck is Corpusalo out for the Kings? I'm fucking shocked right now.
Really? I
Yeah, no, like this guy is in that like Pinoy or something like that. Never heard of him, but I'm like, why are they not playing Corpusalo against the Oilers right now? I'm so shocked.
you know, maybe it's the matchups. I don't know. Is that an advantage for Edmonton? I
Oh,
mean,
100%. Oh my god.
okay, that's interesting. That's gonna be fun.
I don't know.
This is gonna be fun.
I hear your Oilers are pretty good this year, Mr. Yacy. Are they gonna
Oh, dude, don't even
make
get
some
me
noise
started
in
right now.
the old playoffs? They can make
Dude,
some noise.
not even trying to make a bold take. Whether people can hate me or not, Oilers probably have arguably probably the best chance to go to the Stanley Cup, hands down. Not
Yeah.
even a bias right now.
Okay.
Like that team is on fire right now, and like they're
Yeah.
just like they're firing on all cylinders. The goaltending's working, the forwards are working, the defense is working, the chemistry is clicking. We're powering through these teams that are like unstoppable teams. We beat Boston, we beat LA, we beat Vegas. We're tearing through the whole Western Conference right now. There's not a top team we haven't beaten in the West. So realistically, like the East is a beast of its own. Like I know that for a fact. I'm not worried about that.
It usually
But
is, right?
in the West, man, why? Yeah, Oilers have a fair shot in the West.
There you go.
Does Toronto finally break that curse? That
No,
2004
fuck no, fuck no, definitely not. Fuck Toronto. No, fuck Toronto. You know what? I'll be honest though. I know you have the affiliation with the Buccaneers. I hear you. I get it. But I
Yeah.
fucking hate the Lightning. I don't like the Lightning at all. So if Toronto can beat the Lightning, fucking A. Do I think it's gonna
Right.
happen? Absolutely not. Not even close.
Okay. There you
Like
go.
Hey,
especially
I don't
because
blame him.
Vasilevsky is such a solid goalie, right? I don't know.
He is. He's a Hall of Famer.
No,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Toronto loses again. I'm not saying Tampa's going to go far though. I think Tampa probably will get out of the first round.
No.
But they lose to
Boston's-
Boston.
Yeah, from Boston.
So-
Well, you know, whoever wins. It seems like whoever wins the President's Trophy never gets to even to the Stanley Cup final. You
Oh.
know, so
I'm not telling you right now that I think Boston's going to the Cup. I don't think that's happening either. Actually, I think Boston could get swept.
No.
okay. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just they're having a good year, and I'm not taking away from their regular season points because it's fucking very impressive. It really is. But we've seen this story before, and not often does it pan out, right? Like, I'll compare it to football. The Eagles, everybody thought it's a fucking Cinderella story, right? What fucking happened? They lost in the playoffs. It happens. That's what I mean. Boston, we've seen this story so many fucking times, at least once a year, right? And again, like maybe they do it. Maybe they did what Colorado did, and they carried it like Colorado last year went the whole fucking yard, right? And they ended up finishing it, right? That's good. That's awesome. But that doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often. To be honest, you know what's a team I think potentially could be a dark horse is Minnesota.
Okay. Minnesota.
So I think the Minnesota Wild are looking like they've always been pretty good, but they're just different this year. I don't know. It's tough to say.
I can see that. I can see the Kings. You know, they're good,
Yep.
but of course, I mean, you know, the Golden Knights are going to win it all. So I wonder who's
Nah.
going.
I love the Golden Knights, man. Ben, I love the Golden Knights. I do. But like with you guys are injury prone right now. You can't even figure out who your starting goaltender is at this point. Like the Golden Knights are just huh?
We're giving you
I
different
like the Golden Knights. I have no shit talk about the Golden Knights. I actually really like them. They're my second favorite team. But
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they have it's just they're injury prone this year. And it's tough. Actually, funny enough, my fiance, she knows Aiden Hill too. Like her friend is like married her friend's married to Aiden Hill.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I know it's insane, right? But no, like you know who's a team to watch in the East is the Rangers.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it'd be don't count out the Kraken. That team can.
They're good. You know what? I think I have a lot of respect for the Kraken, and the reason why I have so much respect for them is like it's not like they have stars or anything. It's they have a very good, like, it's like their whole team is a second line team. And that's what it is. Like, their whole team just clicks really well. But, like, you can't go into that team and be like, oh, that's a start, that's a start, that's a start. It's like the whole team just plays well. And that's cool. That's good hockey.
Nick, I mean, your Blackhawks, are they going to, I'm sure they're out of it right now, right?
Are they getting the first overall pick, Nick?
Okay. Since you want to bring this up, no, it's very sad to me, honestly.
Are you a hockey fan, Nick? I didn't know, actually.
Well, look, I watch all sports, and obviously I follow the Blackhawks for, like I said, 92, and I know you guys, Ben will remember, Kyle, you probably know because you're a hockey guy, but I'm still heartbroken by 92. And I hate the Pittsburgh Penguins forever because I don't care. You win 11 playoff games in a row, and then you lose to the damn Penguins. Give me a break, man. I'm still yes.
If they didn't have Wayne Campbell, if they'd have had Wayne Campbell on that team, I think they would have won.
Exactly. That's right. They would have. No, but
I hate the Penguins.
The thing that upsets me with the Blackhawks, honestly, you win the 3 titles in 5 years, 2010, 13, 15. Then, of course, like with every team, you start getting off pieces. Dustin Byfuglien goes. Then this guy goes. And Temi Panarin, everybody at Shaw goes. And you start chipping away at the pieces that got you those titles. And you say, well, we're rebuilding. But you still finish kind of middle of the pack for a few years. So your draft picks aren't high for one. So you get middle of the road guys. You're not getting superstars or not. Like I said, this year, we could end up with the number 1 pick in hockey, which that might actually do something for us. I don't know. But again, obviously the whole thing with going to the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's the end of an era. That was coming though. But again, that just proves to you that we haven't done a lot to really rebuild our hockey program.
Yeah.
And we haven't been relevant in 7 or 8 years. And so a lot of, people in Chicago just go, okay, well, what are you going to do?
It's like the Red Wings with Ken Holland when he left the Red Wings. It's exactly the same story. Like, he built a good team, the whole team left, and they had no farm team.
And that's what happened to us. And this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what happened to us. And so now here we are. I don't see it. I mean, legit, I don't see us getting back to the playoffs anytime real soon. There's maybe a couple of pieces that there's a couple of pieces there, a couple of young kids. You go, okay, kids got some talent. As much hockey as I've watched this year, I've watched a little bit. I'll admit I haven't watched a ton. But when I caught some Blackhawk games, I'm not inspired. I'm not encouraged. I'm just like, all right, guys, we're playing fine, blah, blah, blah. We got a team out there. They're doing the best they can, but this is not going to go anywhere.
But,
go ahead, Shane.
I was going to say, with that, though, the thing is I could say that in a way, the Chicago Blackhawks are in a similar situation that Edmonton Oilers were in like a while ago, right? Like, you're saying, sure, one player doesn't change a team, but Connor Bedard is comparable, if not in ways better than what Connor McDavid is. Like, Connor Bedard is a generational player. It's not a question about that, right? And the fact is that the Chicago Blackhawks, they have picks, right? So
yes, we do. We do. Finally.
So the thing is we were in a similar situation, and we built our team in like 3 years, essentially, right? So you never really know. Like, it's crazier things can happen.
Well, true, but again, I hope it does, because again, we don't have to win a title every year. I would just like us to be relevant. We're the 3rd largest market in America. We're the 3rd largest city. And all of our teams, and again, this is a Chicago rant for a second, so bear with me. Please, outside of the Cubs finally winning one in 2016, the White Sox won one in 2005. The Bears are holding on to 1985. Like I said, that the 3 hockey ones were great, but nothing really since then. We have 6 basketball titles in the 90s, and then nothing since then. So Chicago has become great at being the mediocre sports town. We're the 3rd largest city in America. This is not the way that this should be going. That's all I'm saying. You got to do better, Chicago. You just got to do better. You can't make me look bad. You can't make me look bad on shows like this when I talk to guys from Vegas about hockey or a guy who's an Edmonton Oiler fan with hockey, and I got to talk about the Blackhawks. Then I got to listen to Sean's BS about the Bears, about Washington barely beating us with their broken arm quarterback Carson Wentz, who doesn't have a job right now.
We beat the Bears too.
Yes, I know, Kyle. I was watching that game. Thank you. And that's my point. But guess what? Your guys' days are over. The next time we play both your teams, we'll wipe the floor with you.
The Falcons have a fucking scary defense right now. I will say that.
But you got to work on that offense a little bit. You got to figure out who your quarterback is.
I'm fine with that. I don't care for offense is trash. Our defense is fucking scary.
No, I know. And that's fine. I hope Atlanta improves too. But I'm telling you, Chicago needs to step it up, man. I'm tired of miring and mediocrity when I talk to all these other sports people and they bring up my sports teams, and I always got to talk about, this. They're like, no, that we got to fix
here. Chicago sucks there. Cubs here.
I don't want to hear that anymore. I've had enough of that.
When is Aaron Rodgers going to sell the Chicago Bears?
Oh, shut up! You be quiet too. I can't wait. I hope the Jets don't sign him. I hope he goes nowhere. I hope he goes to his cave again and chokes on his patchouli or marijuana, whatever the hell he does over there. I hope he just get that guy out of my face forever. I'm just tired of Aaron Rodgers. I don't even care where he is.
He is a total douchebag.
Just go somewhere and go somewhere.
Send him to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. No, send him to the Buccaneers.
There you go. Right. Ben, you need a quarterback, right? Ben, you get Aaron Rodgers. You need a quarterback.
No way.
Tampa Bay.
What do you mean they're running with Baker? They're on the Baker train now.
Baby. Baker Mayfield.
Man, you know what?
You know what makes me laugh?
Go ahead.
In our group, so many fucking people talk shit about fucking Baker Mayfield. And they're like, oh, no. Baker Mayfield's on the Bucks now. We can't talk no more shit. No.
Oh, want to bet? No. But you know what? Here's my thing. I actually was a Baker fan. I'm not going to lie. I was. Sean will tell you this. We've talked about this before. I actually was a Baker fan. I thought the kid had a chance to be a decent quarterback in the NFL. It didn't happen. And so now we've got this situation where he's going to Tampa Bay to a rebuilding team. Let's be honest, Ben. You're kind of rebuilding. You lost some key pieces. I know you got a few still on defense that you've kept, but you guys are probably in rebuild mode. You got a rookie quarterback in a second-year quarterback in Kyle Trask, and you've got Baker Mayfield. So you got to hope that one of those. Huh?
Listen,
I would have just fucking me personally. Again, no team ever wants to flank, or you know what I mean. But at the same time, why not just fucking run with fucking Kyle Trask, and if you bomb, whatever you bomb. And then try and get to the Caleb Williams lottery. I don't know, why not at that point?
Yeah, because honestly, Baker plays well enough. He'll win you some games. And you guys will end up picking outside of the top 10. And then you'll be like, oh, what happened?
There's no competition. Okay? They can say it's competition. Baker's winning the job. Unless
I know.
That's why you signed him. You didn't bring him there just to. Obviously Baker's going to start.
No, he's leading the ship, Ben. He's fucking leading the ship. He's fucking going on the ship. He's driving it fucking around. They fucking signed him to be a captain. Okay, they signed him to hoist the sails. That's what they want Baker to do. Okay.
There you go.
Why are you being so mean, Kyle?
Why?
I'm actually not. I think they should have. I think they should have just fucking trashed the season. And then honestly, the Bucks actually have a good team still. They got good offense. They have the best wide receiving core, in my opinion, in the NFC South. They have a fucking great defensive line. I just think it's a stupid move to sign Baker Mayfield. You should have just fucking went with Trask. Just for us, sure, I have faith in Ritter, but fucking if we flank or we flunk, sorry, I don't know why I keep on saying that, but I'll own it. I'll fucking own it. You know what I mean? Because we're not giving up these key ass assets to sign these quarterbacks that we know are not going to be on the team next year.
Right.
Yeah, Lamar,
agreed.
You don't go after him because he's injury prone. He's been hurt the last few, and you're going to give this guy guaranteed money? No. Your 2 first-round picks? No. Let Lamar stay in Baltimore. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
he's just not worth it. I mean,
Yeah, you're not Cleveland, who really screwed up the quarterback market by giving Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract.
Listen, he's
that's
still
really what
something
happened
else.
there.
I'd take Lamar. I would take fucking Deshaun over Lamar. I'm just saying, all like the shit he went through aside, like Watson is a better quarterback.
And he
Okay,
very well
so-
may be, but what is he gonna? Okay, now I just feel like I don't know. I don't think Cleveland's still going to go anywhere with Deshaun Watson. That's my personal opinion. And I just giving him all that money guaranteed just didn't make, regardless of the situation, it didn't make any sense. The guy didn't play for a year and a half because of all this crap, and then you still gave him a $250 million guaranteed contract, and now you get your first full season with him. Like I said, I'll be interested to see what happens in Cleveland, but I'm not sold that Deshaun Watson is going to be the guy that takes them over the top and makes them a contender in that AFC with all the other teams that are stacked ahead of them. I just don't see it. But again, I'll reserve judgment until I see something.
This comment by Sean. Remember how he was, telling everybody Sam Howell's the guy. It's like what Washington's doing with Sam Howell. What are you tanking or something? You're just gonna put him in there?
Yeah, no, fair.
Sean, I love Sean to death, but I think something like he either ate some bad fish or something happened to him, because this Sam Howell thing is driving me nuts with him. Like, he acts like this guy's the second coming of, Joe Montana or something. Like,
He's
all of a sudden,
He's manifesting. I get it.
No, I get it, manifest, but I mean, really, you're acting like this guy's going to all of a sudden resurrect Washington football, and next year you guys are going to be, win the AFC or the NFC East. You're going to, make this great playoff run all on the back of Sam Howell. And again, what have we haven't seen much from Howell. Kind of like we haven't seen a lot from Desmond Ritter.
Thank you. Fuck my God. Somebody finally fucking said it.
No, we haven't seen
true though.
We've only seen one
quarter. No, I know you haven't. Well, that's my point. But see again, you brought in Baker Mayfield, and I know I get it. Washington brought in Jacoby Brissett as well.
I would have wanted Jacoby. I'd rather have him.
So to me, that feels like a quarterback competition, because Jacoby actually is not a bad quarterback. And if he's going to go in and battle Sam Howell in training camp, Jacoby could win that job. You know what? That's all I'm saying. Like, he could actually win the job and be the starting quarterback of Washington week 1. So, yeah, all I'm saying is the Sam Howell thing. I get Sean being optimistic, and that's his team and great. But I don't know, bro. I think we got to wait and see on that one. Same with Desmond Ritter. I like Desmond Ritter, and I hope Atlanta is better this year. But let's just see what the kid has before we, go nuts with stuff. I don't know.
Everybody's fucking jumping the gun, especially on Ritter. And I'm not, again, especially in our group, I'm not saying that they're wrong per se, but I'm not saying that you can go and fucking judge the guy after 3 or 4 solid games. You know what I mean? Which he played well in. No. So, give him a fucking full season.
Yes.
And then let's see what he can do. Let's see what his stats are. All things considered, you got to give all these quarterbacks a chance, or else you're not going to see what you actually have. Kyle Trask, even Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson just might not be on the right team, right? That's honestly what it might be.
Them trying to sign Aaron Rodgers should tell you that Zach Wilson is definitely not the guy in New York. And maybe he'll catch on somewhere else, and maybe he'll have and end up having a decent career. Who knows? But well, obviously you didn't think he gets hurt last year. You throw in Mike White, who he's not there anymore either. He signed elsewhere. I forgot where he went, but Mike White got a 2-year contract somewhere. And now you have Zach Wilson and potentially Aaron Rodgers if you ever decide that deal ever gets done.
The point is with the Jets, with Zach Wilson, they just want to get rid of that motherfucker.
Probably.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
Probably.
All right.
But
hey, boys, I'm not gonna lie, I can talk hockey and football all night, but I gotta dip out.
Okay. Kyle's like, I gotta go.
Why don't you
see you guys? Well, thanks for having me on Face the Heels. I'll try and tune in a little bit more, guys. It's crazy life and what's going on right now. But you'll catch me in the odd time too on Off the Boards on North Sports Dynasty. We have that every odd Thursday. Hopefully next Thursday, not this Thursday, we should have something going on. As well as on the odd Friday night too with North Sports Dynasty, and hopefully back soon on Let's Talk Football NFC South Takeover. But until then, you guys can all catch me on Facebook and on these beautiful fan pages. So peace out.
All right. Take it easy, Kyle. Have a good night.
Thank you for coming on, man. Man, I got to tell you. By the way, for the audience out there still watching, we got a couple viewers. It was a wrestling show, but then we went to.
It turned into something else altogether.
But it's okay. It's okay. You know, I'm not
Hey,
mad at it.
We are all service and we are all purposeful here at Face the Heels. We don't talk about anything. Go, Ben.
That's right.
Thank you, Ben. Oh, here we go. Read the comment and stop being bullheaded, sticking to your point, Nick. Hey, look here, pal. You know I always want the smoke. So if you want to bring it, just bring it. I'm like The Rock. Just bring it.
You heard it first.
That's all I got to say about that. All I got to say about that.
When they're starting Justin Fields, Justin Fields.
Well, okay, but at least, Sean, I've had a year and a half of Justin where I could say I like what I see. If we could put some pieces around him, we may actually have something here. We don't know that about Sam Howell yet, and that's all I'm saying. This is going to be his. And again, you don't even know. Yes, it seems likely that they want to start Sam Howell, but you brought in Jacoby Brissett, and I don't think you brought him in just to be a damn decoration. He's obviously going to compete for that starting job, and all I'm saying is that he could win it. And then you'll wait even longer to see Sam Howell play. That's all I'm saying. Or at least we knew in Chicago that Justin Fields was going to be the guy. And sure enough, when he finally came in, he was the guy. All last year, he was the guy. Good, bad, or indifferent, outside of when he was injured for those 2 games, Justin Fields was the guy. And you saw things that were very positive. Yes, there's a few things he still needs to work on, but the fact of the matter is, that's your guy. It's very clear. We made trades. You know, we traded our number 1 pick to get a number 1 receiver and more picks, telling me that Justin Fields is the guy. The Bears are going with Justin Fields, and now they're building around him. Bottom line. Again, go ahead. Yes, Ben, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, well, if Tua has another concussion and becomes a decoration, then this is where Mike White signed.
Right. Then Mike White, there he goes. He signed with the Dolphins. I knew he went somewhere. I knew it was a 2-year deal, but I didn't remember where. So there you go. Right. If Tua gets knocked around again, unfortunately, you're going to see the Mike White show in Miami. So there you go. But yeah.
I'm saying it's a good situation to not go after a free agent quarterback. We have a new OC to pair with a brand new quarterback. Who wouldn't be hyped? This is similar to you and Justin Fields. You're just like raining on people's parades, Nick.
That's right, Sean. I'm the raining on people's parade guy. Is that what I am now? That's what you're calling me? I see.
So let me get that time. Why are you dogging him before he plays? The Bears brought in Andy Dalton to back up Justin Fields. That's exactly what Jacoby Brissett is here for. Sam is the number 1 quarterback. Well, let me say this real quick.
Go ahead, Ben. Yeah. Yes.
Andy Dalton has experience. He's been a starting quarterback. The same with Brissett. Now, Justin Fields, though, was a higher draft pick, Sean, with all due respect. Sam Howell was what, a 2nd-round pick, I believe he was? 2nd or 3rd round? Help me out there, Sean. Is he a 2nd or 3rd-round pick? I still think Justin has more talent long-term, can become a better quarterback long-term than Sam Howell. I just see too much Baker Mayfield. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe he could wow us and maybe become the next, franchise quarterback. We don't know. You're right. We got to see how.
True. We'll see how he plays, right?
But I'm just saying, I think Justin Fields' ceiling's a lot higher than Sam Howell, and I think, with Brissett, he's a great backup, and he's not even a bad starter. He actually played pretty well for Cleveland last year. I would have liked to have gotten him instead Baker Mayfield, but it is what it is. So, like I said, Sean, we'll see what happens. I mean, either way, it's going to be one of those guys, Sam or Brissett. I think he did good by bringing in Brissett. It's a solid backup plan. So we'll see what happens. And with that being said, Nick, it is time to wrap this baby up. It's been a great episode, by the way. I know we got sidetracked.
I think so. A little bit. We went to hockey to football. Yeah, we were all over today, but
it'd be like, Jim Cornette. Oh, damn it. Why are you talking about fucking football?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No,
I love it.
Sean, let's end this one here. Sam was a 5th round pick. Okay, thank you, Sean, for clarifying that. I thought he was a 3rd round. That was due to when he came out. He had come out the year before. He had been out in the first 2 rounds. Brissett will win games just like Dalton did when Fields was out. Well, I don't know. I mean, he didn't win that many games, but
I was going to say, when you act like Andy Dalton like had a winning record or something, come on, bro. Don't
I'm
do
just
that.
saying,
Don't do that.
No, I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying
No, I am. I'm the guy who rains on Sean's parade. So, yeah, I'm dogging him. Exactly. There you go. Ben's not, but I am. Fine. There you go. Exactly. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Y'all have to Brissett is the second coming.
No, but I say he'll compete for the starting job. Is that so wrong to say? You brought him in for a reason. Yeah, fine. Maybe the goal was to back up your boy Sam Howell, but I'm just saying, if Brissett goes in there and competes in training camp, who's to say he doesn't get the starting job? That's all I'm saying, bro. Well,
yeah, I mean,
maybe maybe you could see it that way, but Dalton was always going to be the backup to Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields was the man from the beginning. That was the whole point.
well,
Dalton, yes, was brought in. Right, exactly. We even traded up to get it. I mean, we went from 20 to 11 just to get the damn guy, or 19. Sorry, whatever our pick was. Right. I know. I'm not saying. Like I said, I like Brissett. That's my point. Is that I think he has a chance to compete for the starting job. Is all I'm saying. I get that you're behind Sam Howell and he's your quarterback, and that's fine. All I'm saying, my brother, is that Brissett comes in there and impresses in camp. He's competing for the spot. In his mind. And if I was him, I wouldn't want to come in there just to be this kid's backup either. I'd want to compete for the starting job. Like, that's the whole point. Why are you going to come to a team and be like, I'm good with just backing this kid up. I'll be fine. No, man. I want to go in there and win the job and show you what I can do. Come on, bro. You're killing me, Sean. You're killing me is what's happening right now. You're killing me with all this. Right. You're killing me, Smalls.
Same difference, bro.
Yeah. Right.
Bro. Oh, yeah, bro.
Bro.
Oh,
yeah, bro. Exactly. Oh, Sean, I love you, man. This is fun. Yeah, Sean. Next time, Sean, why don't you say it to my face, man? Why don't you come on the show? Always writing comments in the background, huh? Why don't you come on the show, bro? Face to face, let's go. You and I. You want the smoke? I want the smoke. Let's do this. You know I'm here. You know where I am. I'm available. Well, sometimes it is Cub season, so I'm away a lot. But I'm just saying, you come find me. You know where I am. You know where to find me, Sean. Let's do this.
I'll go to Wrigley Field, guys. You'll see.
That's right. You know where to find me on a Cub game day. That's right. You come through Gallagher Way. I'm in the left field corner. Come and see me. Wrigley Field. I'm there. Let's go. Come and get me. I'm there. Just ask for Nick. They know who I am. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Nick Rosario. Can you give me a Budweiser up here?
Exactly.
In the booth? I need to get drunk by the third inning.
Oh, Harry was notorious, right? They used to send him Budweisers to the booth. So yeah. Harry always had his.
I'm sure you would have served at least gave 5 or 6 of them out per day, right? Per game.
Well, by the time though, I didn't start at Wrigley till '99. By then, Harry was pretty much done. He died like shortly thereafter, I think, or right before that.
Didn't he fall like during a Marlins game? Didn't he fall from a?
Well, he took a fall, but I don't know if that's what ended up killing him was the fall that he took. But I don't remember him falling during the Marlins game. But he could have. It's very possible because, like I said, he was off balance and
yeah.
Good old Harry, you gotta love him.
It was the Budweisers. Anyway,
yeah, so it definitely was.
With that being said, Mr. Rosario, let me wrap this show up. But before we do, why don't you tell us where we can find you, sir?
Well, right now, as I said, it is baseball season, so I'm a little bit busier, but I'm still around. Of course, I like to come on and talk wrestling with Ben, so I'm usually here on Face the Heels. I try to make every show possible. Unfortunately, there will be some night games at Wrigley that I will not be on. But also, too, I'm trying to work on me and Anthony Handy are resurrecting our Popcorn and Parachute Pants 80s movie podcast. Look for new episodes probably next month, early May, if not end of April, early May. look for some new episodes there. Johnny Dean and I are still trying to work out some details on an entertainment report. So you may see that as well. And as always, you can find me here sparring with Sean Spencer at any given moment, because apparently that's what Sean and I like to do. But yeah, and of course, as always, in August, I'm host of one of 3 hosts of, and I kind of try to take the lead with moderating on the Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. So again, once football season starts, you'll be able to see me there once again. But as always, thank you, Ven, for the opportunity. You know how much I love talking wrestling, so I love this. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, we'll see when I can get back on for the old Face the Heels.
Nick, before one more thing, and you're gonna, you're gonna start your show again of popcorn parachute pants. And
yes.
I'm an '80s guy, '80s movie cult guy. Now,
sure.
Have you ever seen this movie?
Okay. Come on, Ben. I thought you were going to give me something harder than the Joyce Heiser classic from 1985 with Billy Zabka. Come on. Who doesn't like just what? If you're an 80s person, if you call yourself an 80s movie fan, you had to have seen Just One of the Guys. I'll tell you a story, Ben. I had that on beta tape. Like that, I used to record my dad had a beta machine. We used to record our movies on beta tape. And I had Just One of the Guys on beta for years. Great, like it's like one of the quintessential 80s movies in terms of the formula and the story and the whole thing. Like, if you know 80s movies, you know Just One of the Guys. It's totally I don't care what anybody says, it's a classic. And Joyce Heiser was a knockout back in 1985. Let me just say that. Just One of the Guys. Gotta love it.
I need to
Ben's trying to stump me now, I think, with 80s movies. Is that what he's doing? He's going to pull out more DVDs and see if I've seen them?
Yeah, let me 1 second, Nick, if I can get just a few more minutes of your time.
Hey, go ahead. I love talking 80s movies about as much as I love talking wrestling. There we go. It's right my alley, pal. And for those of you still watching, Ben's going to pull out more movies from the 80s that he thinks I haven't seen. Go ahead, Ben. What do you got? Well, yeah, I have seen Back to the Beach. It's not on my regular viewing list, but yes, Frankie and Annette and and I don't know what you want. Pee Wee Herman doing the bird, like Bird, the whole, Bird is the word. Pee Wee Herman appears in the movie. Like they're trying to relive their 50s glory in beach movies. Yes, the Back to the Beach. I don't remember exactly what year that was, 86, 87, whenever that was, but good old Frankie and Annette doing one last beach movie for everyone. Yes, Back to the Beach.
It might be in one of my boxes somewhere. I thought I had it. I was going to surprise you with one.
Okay.
Okay. I found
it. Ben has found it. Here we go. Ben Cornett, ladies and gentlemen, with the 80s movie surprise. Oh, are you serious? Henry Winkler, Shelley Long, Michael Keaton? Who doesn't love Night Shift? This is what I'm saying, my friend. Now, I'll tell you something. You don't think, because you wouldn't think, you put Michael Keaton and Henry Winkler in a movie together, but I'm telling you, Keaton as the funny guy and Winkler as the straight man, phenomenal.
Right.
Like, it's absolutely a fun movie. Keaton is manic, which he always is. He's great in this movie. Like, love Night Shift. Great 80s. See, that's what I'm saying. And I know people are going to say I'm biased because I kind of grew up in the 80s. So that was I saw a lot of those movies. Cable was in its infancy. So all these movies were played on, cable. So I saw all of these things, and you could see any movie that played on cable. You could watch it 30 times in a month because it was playing that month on a particular channel. So yeah, I've movies like that and then they lived on cable. Night Shift,
right.
DC Cab, stuff like what I'm saying, like exactly. The Dream Team. Was that Christopher Lloyd is in that, isn't he? Isn't that Christopher Lloyd is in that?
Yeah,
Michael Keaton. Stuff like What About Bob? The Bill Murray classic. What About Bob? You just was that 90s? Oh, I thought it was. I'm sorry. See, I'm mixing up my movies now. But there was so many like little comedies like that just, they were just great. I mean, the 80s made a lot of movies, and they made a lot of You know, that was the coming of it. The teen flicks were really huge in the 80s.
What about this one?
Well, come on. Born in East LA, a Cheech Marine vehicle, which of course he does the music for as well because he's a musician. You know, the best part, the funny part to me in total was in the music video when they have the setup where the guy's asking him, you know, where were you born? He's like, well, I was born in East LA. He's like, who's the president of the United States? And he goes, you know, that guy from Death Valley days, John Wayne. And the guy looks at him like, yeah, just hilarious. Like, you know, obviously it was Ronald Reagan at the time, but yeah, he makes the joke. It was that guy from Death Valley days, John Wayne. So yeah, I love talking, Sean. Yes. Have you not known this about me in the 3 years that we've known each other? So come on now.
Yeah.
Hit the road, Jack. Yes, of course. Which Sean should do right now. He's just hit the road, Jack, for trying to come at me on Face the Heels. Are you trying to be the heel? Is that you trying to take me out, bro? Like, is that what's happening here? Because like I said, man, I can go all night, pal. You're lucky Ben has to go, or we could keep this going for hours. I'm just saying. Plus, I'll probably get tired at some point too. But yeah, no, I love this. You guys are the best. I do. And besides, Ben's on Pacific time. It's like 2 hours behind me, so it's only 8:30 where Ben is. So you know, whatever.
Yeah.
He says, "Wow, there." Come on, Sean. I'm definitely a baby. Yeah, you're the big. Yeah. Oh no, I'm the heel. I know that. I want the smoke. Bring it. I want the smoke. I'm definitely the heel. You're the baby face.
I'm kind of a heel.
Ben rides the fence. Ben's Stone Cold Steve Austin in that sense. He can be a bad guy or he can be a baby face. Ben's on the line. Ben can go either way.
Kind of that WO, you know, where it was cool to be the heels, you know, kind of.
Exactly. Well, like you said, Sean, but every good heel, like myself, needs a good baby face, so that's fine. You're a jabroni. What can I say? That's all I can tell you about you. You're a jabroni.
Wow. Harding shot there, Mr. Rosario.
That's right.
Nick,
that's right.
Fun to have you on. I definitely want to, if you let me, I want to be on one of these popcorn and parachute pants because, dude, I met my 80s movie.
I think it's great. Oh yeah, no, I think it's great. You're an '80s movie fan because everybody should be if they're not. '80s movies were awesome. But anyways, yeah. So look for.
Yeah,
I'll have Handy call you. We'll have my agent call your agent. We'll work it out. It'll be great. Fantastic.
Right. And I said I went on live the other day, and I said, I'm ashamed of myself to say this, but I never saw St. Elmo's Fire until last week.
Wow, that I'm surprised. Being an '80s movie guy, you did. Actually, again, another
many times. 16 Candles, whatever. That's the Brat Pack, obviously. You know, the whole crew.
But St. Elmo's Fire's all in that. They're all in that one. And they threw in a Mare Winningham for good measure. Like she wasn't really part of that group, but Mare Winningham's in the movie, and it's like she's like the outsider, but it's perfect and it works. Yeah.
But I gotta say, good movie. It was a good movie. The acting was good. It reminds you of how great the '80s were, man. It was just incredible.
But that's what that's what people did right. The '80s were a good time for movies. A lot of up and coming actors who are still working today, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people got their start in the '80s, and they're still working today. So, not a bad era for movies at all. That's why Anthony and I like talking about it because that's our era, and it works.
You
good.
Into the nerds, right? Which one was better?
Of course.
I was a
guy. Come on, one by far. That's not even a question, Mr. Ben.
My sister says Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise, Fort Lauderdale.
Nerds in Paradise. No. Just the and again, some of it's obviously inappropriate. Like it wouldn't fly in today's culture.
Right. Yeah.
But just the conversations between Tekashi and Booger alone make that movie. They're hilarious. Teaching him how to play cards and everything, like phenomenal interaction. Like, no, exactly. Like, no, you have too many. I have 2 and 4 kings. That's good. No, you got too many kings. Let's take 3 of those and give you 3 fresh cards. Like, there's great exchanges in that movie. There's no way that's better. That's not better than Revenge of the Nerds 2 in Fort Lauderdale. Sorry, Revenge of the Nerds 1 is the best. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out to my sister.
No problem.
Sorry.
Sorry, Ben's sister. You're wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. With all due respect.
All due respect. Absolutely. I don't know you. I'm sure you're a fine lady, but Revenge of the Nerds is much better than part 2. That's all.
Amen to that. Mr. Rosario, thank you for coming on tonight. And everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight on Face the Heels, hockey, football, 80s movies, genre tonight.
There we go. We got it all, baby. We got it all.
And Nick, if we can get you on one of my Have At It shows on Friday nights, depending on your schedule, I want to do some themes, some 80s themes, 90s themes, working on that, getting my creative juices going since football season is not here right now.
Yeah.
And basketball season just ended. So we'll talk more about that. Everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight, and we will see you next time right here on Face the Heels. Have a good night, everybody.